For more than 100 years, First Choice Bank has provided dedicated community banking to North Mississippi. The banking products and services you need when you need them. At First Choice, you're our priority. Make First Choice your choice for banking.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. It has been a fantastic Friday and technically an unproductive Friday. We were forecasting lots of rain for this evening. We had that severe weather risk, but thankfully those rain chances have held on out so far so we can wrap up those Friday night games. I know all our high school players were happy, the band of the week, cheer of the week, all of those squads out there across North Mississippi were excited to get out and enjoy their game day on a dry note. Of course, our meteorologist, Gabe Maynard, will be out in the field sharing what went down, especially as he enjoyed it with those dry conditions. But speaking of, it's pretty much just a better ending for our Friday night games. The rain held off. It was a great Friday night for us here in North Mississippi. But those rain chances, they're still in our forecast, but thankfully just pushed back a little ways. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, Gabe will walk us through our game of the week and our dry game of the week. Thankful for that rain still holding off. But it will be dry in time for football. That is something I want to keep emphasizing just based off how these model runs have stayed consistent. They've changed on their timing, but the afternoon and evening for our Saturday continues to remain dry. But speaking of dry, Gabe, he's out in the field right now, and I know y'all were, I don't know what that is. We'll have to ignore that. But I know you're out in the field at the game of the week, and y'all were able to stay dry. How has the game gone so far? There we go.
Well, Caleb, the game is officially over, and the Bearcats did come away with the victory this evening, and so that's what we were tracking here at the Bearcat Stadium at Latimer Park Field. Let's go ahead and get into those highlights because this was a fantastic 74th edition of the Skunk Bowl. Latimer Park Field was cooking up another great edition of the Skunk Bowl between rivals Baldwin and Boonville. You see the tailgate right there. Teams coming out on the field, and the fireworks were starting early. I'm talking literal fireworks there in the sky. Getting a great shot there in Baldwin as the teams came out on the field. Bearcats ball to start the game. Quarterback Rush Watkins takes a snap, looking for a receiver, can't find anyone, and takes it 12 yards himself for the Bearcats' first down. A great start to the game, trying to carry that momentum. Watkins tries to sneak in a pass to his receiver, but it is picked off by Boonville's Hayden Sailors. Boonville cheerleaders loving what they are seeing, getting the crowd into the game. It was such a fun start. And taking advantage of the stop, Boonville quarterback Jack Sandlin throws a deep slant to Kydon Smith, who bobbles it and comes down with it, taking it all the way to the 1-yard line. There was a little bit of confusion whether it was a touchdown or not, but he was down at the 1. Boonville needing to capitalize, draws up its goal line play. They turn to Porter Tapp, who carries it through the defense and in the end zone with a defender on his back. Team celebrating right there. The big boys up front getting him all the way into the end zone. Boonville strikes first and takes a lead 7-0. You see right there with 10 minutes left in the first quarter. Baldwin looking for a response, turns to running back Jordan Crump. He gets 10, but then fumbles. You see the ball pop out right there. It is then picked up by the Bearcats, who take it another 10 yards. First down Bearcats. Following play, quarterback Rush Watkins takes it 20 yards to the outside, fumbles again. Teammate Brandon Johnson finds it and takes it another 7 yards. First down Baldwin again, getting luck after luck. But the luck would finally run out for the Bearcats, punting it on 4th down. Blue Devil ball following the punt. Sandlin throws one outside while falling to the ground. I mean, look at that, barely getting it off right there. I would say Mahomes-esque. And that goes to receiver Riley Clack, who gets an easy 10 yards out of bounds. Baldwin calls timeout, needing the stop. Next play, Sandlin throws deep, but to the wrong team. Bearcats defender Carson Richardson comes up with the stop that they needed. Bearcat ball on the Baldwin 45. Bearcats trying to take advantage of the stop. You can see the fans getting into it. They toss it to Calvin Price, who is shot out of a cannon on the sideline all the way to the Blue Devil 30 before getting a shoelace tackle on the outside. Bearcat looking to follow up the big play. They throw a big heave from Watkins to Grayfield, wide open. Where's the defense? A big play by the senior to tie up the game at 7. Baldwin celebrating as they even up the score. You see the celebration right here. Check out the handshake. Got to respect that right there. The chemistry is in sync, and Baldwin getting excited there in the stands, waving those flags. Cats, C-A-T-S. You can see they're emphasizing it with that 7-7 score. And after a Boonville 3-and-out, they actually punt the ball. The Blue Devils punt it to return man Ashton Grice. Grice checks out the right side, doesn't like it, turns back to the left, and that man is gone with a blink. I mean, he is all the way downfield, down the left sideline, 50 yards to the end zone for the junior from Baldwin. Bearcats take the lead 14-7 heading into halftime against the Blue Devils. The final score is Boonville 14, Baldwin 35. Baldwin wins the 74th edition of the Skunk Bowl and takes the series lead, making it 36-35-3 in favor of the Bearcats. So it was a fantastic night here at Bearcat Field, and we got to enjoy that. Actually, I got the name of the field wrong. I'm so sorry. This is and folks were just enjoying it. The stands were crowded. The bands were loud. Fans were loud. I mean, they even gave me a free towel. So, I mean, I'm merched up for the next game if we ever head to another Baldwin game. But we want to give a big thank you to you guys just being able to be a part of this journey, be a part of our game of the week. I hope that you guys have enjoyed our coverage. And the coverage doesn't end here. Caleb, I know that we have Band of the Week and Cheer of the Week coming up. So we have lots to still get into from here in Baldwin. But live in Baldwin, meteorologist Gabe Maynor, live from your game of the week forecast.
Well, thank you, Gabe. That was a great highlight reel. I feel like I watched the entire game from here, so I appreciate catching up. I know the fumbles seemed to be pretty consistent throughout the game, so even though it wasn't raining, it seemed a little bit slippery out there, but very good game out there for our game of the week. Looking at the weather again, you can see for the first 12, those rain chances still lingering in our forecast, but not as confident. 20% by 11, 10% by 10, but then we can start seeing an uptick as we get closer towards our 5, 6, 7 in the morning. That second batch of storm, I guess we can't even call it second batch because we never got the first batch. You can see those rain chances will start to pick up as we get closer into those morning hours. So as I keep mentioning, you might have an early alarm clock set, and that's just going to be some thunderstorms, but thankfully not expecting anything severe by the time we start off our Saturday morning. Look at Mississippi Live weather radar. We are staying dry. Completely unexpected for this evening, but something we will not complain about. We don't want any of that severe weather. We love to see this and love to finish our Friday night games. There is nothing going on in the area. Most of the activity has stayed in Tennessee, and you can still see some storms pretty energetic with all that lightning. I'm covering it up, but total strikes 1,185, so still pretty energetic up there in Tennessee. But for us down here in North Mississippi, we continue to stay dry, and we're not going to be upset about it. We want to avoid that severe weather. You can see those severe thunderstorm watches extending into Tennessee, leaving Mississippi and Alabama completely, and that cold front. That is what's going to be our weather maker as we continue overnight, and that is when we see those chances of rainfall really start to uptick into our morning, and that's where we see those line of showers start to make their way into North Mississippi. Of course, we could track this out on our Futurecast with our Mississippi Live weather radar. You can see that cold front starting to enter Mississippi right now at our 10 o'clock broadcast, and it's going to continue pushing into Mississippi throughout the overnight morning hours. We can see most of our moisture will be cloud covered, maybe some patches of rain showers, very light happening in our southern portion of our viewing area, kind of close to Starkville and pretty much south of 82. But here we go with that moisture. This has stayed pretty consistent with most of the models. You can see that line of moisture really starting to enter into Mississippi. A little bit more, not as intense and severe, just some heavy downpours, some thunder, some lightning. Not expecting anything crazy with this system, especially with how apparently stable our environment has been this evening. That line will continue to push into North Mississippi, and those rain showers will start to get a little bit more weaker as they progress across Mississippi, so we will expect more of a generalized rain showers by the time we're getting towards lunchtime. This is at 12:31. You can see not really any yellow, orange, reds popping up by then, so should be pretty heavy on the front end of the system, and then more of a downpour, lazy start to your Saturday by the time we're getting closer to lunchtime. We can track this out on the next 24, showing a pretty busy start to our Saturday, But those drier conditions, that will start to affect our forecast for not only Saturday and Sunday, but into the rest of your work week. But those rain chances, 40% by 6 a.m., peaking around 50% around 9, and then we will start to decline as we get closer towards lunchtime, afternoon, and once we hit those evening hours, perfect football weather is in store. I was covering up some of the temperatures. You can see mid-70s by the time we're getting towards 6 p.m. and then the upper 60s by the time we're wrapping up football games and heading into those evening overnight hours. So perfect football weather is in store for us. Just got to get through that rain first, but it should be a great start to our Saturday. I'll, of course, show you that Spirit Squad of the Week, Band of the Week, everything coming up here the next minute. Can't wait to see y'all.
Up here's where your biggest risks hide: leaks, mold, and expensive damage. Most commercial roofs fail slowly until they fail big. Why rip it off when you can restore it? Our silicone coatings stop leaks, prevent mold, and extend your roof life without the high replacement cost. It's a 30-year watertight roof, energy efficient, leak-free, and half the cost of replacement. And it's backed by GE's manufacturer warranties. Facility managers love this. No disruption, no tear-off, and long-term protection for your property. Trust Absolute Restoration for your commercial roof.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, there you have it. Baldwin was our Spirit Squad of the Week. I know they were thrilled, pumped, excited for not only the Friday night football game, but also a dry Friday night football game. So very excited to see them broadcasted. Y'all got to stay tuned because we still have to show y'all the Band of the Week that will be coming up in the next few minutes. But looking at our day planner, overnight planner, you can see maybe some rain chances trying to linger. We're still very dry right now. This is pretty much over aggressive, just fighting an uphill battle, but we will stay dry into those AM hours, but the early AM hours until we get towards 5, 6, into 7 in the morning, and that's where we start to see that moisture really start to move on through our area. We can track this out on Futurecast, showing that cold front move on into North Mississippi, but this model not showing those stronger storms affecting Tishomingo, Alcorn, Prentiss County. We're staying dry. You can see that pocket of moisture pretty much south of Highway 82, trying to maybe give some light showers to our viewing area, but that real moisture that will affect us will come behind this front. This is that line of moisture that we will expect to see in those early morning hours. By the time around 6 in the morning, you can see that line really starting to push into North Mississippi. Not expecting anything severe, but we are expecting some general thunderstorms, a lazy, rainy start to our Saturday. That will continue into the rest of our viewing area and start to dissipate as we get closer towards lunchtime. Low temperatures, that will be a main story as we start off our day. You can see where that cold front has really started to impact us. 62 in South Haven, Senatobia, and Tunica. Down here, the cold front hasn't reached yet. You can see 71 in Macon and Aliceville. So still a cool start for our morning. How cool? Well, that depends how far north you are in our viewing area due to that cold front. Coming back to track this out on Futurecast, you can see that cold front has already pretty much pushed through our area. That northerly wind is going to be very dominant in our forecast for not only our Saturday, but into the rest of the weekend and work week ahead. You can see most of that moisture not as strong as it is earlier on in the morning. Now we're getting into more kind of rain showers, heavy downpours, some storms really trying to push into the Golden Triangle region. But by lunchtime, you can see we're starting to get those drier conditions back in place and not really seeing those thunderstorms, energetic storms by the time we get towards lunch in the afternoon hours. This is around 3:30. Still some pockets of moisture trying to mess with those Mississippi State fans as they get ready for their home opener, but dry conditions is what I expect, and this is exactly why I expected. That northerly wind is going to push in these dry, continental dry air. Said dry twice, didn't even mean to, but just to emphasize how dry it's going to be. You can see 7:30, dry conditions are in place and beautiful conditions for the start of Mississippi State's home opener. High temperatures, still beautiful. That is a great part of this story. Pretty much upper 70s for most of our viewing areas, some low 80s trying to pop up, but those feels like values pushing you into the upper 70s, excuse me. You can see that right here showing 77 in Starkville is what it's going to feel like tomorrow. So while everyone's out there rooting for the Dogs, y'all will be rooting in perfect conditions. You can see 76 Houston, Bruce, Tupelo, 72s in Iuka, Boonville, and Corinth. Beautiful Saturday is in store as we start off our weekend. And of course, speaking of football, got to start off with our SEC football forecast. This is for Tuscaloosa, Alabama, looking for a bounce back win, especially for their home opener. Starting off maybe with soggier conditions, just as that cold front finally reaches y'all. But y'all will see drier conditions and still beautiful conditions. 75 by halftime, 73 by the time y'all are walking out of that stadium and heading home. Then out here in Lexington, still sitting pretty with those temperatures. This is an afternoon game already in those mid-60s, 65 with potential, for the start of your football game. But then by halftime, 67, then 68 by the final snap as y'all are leaving the stadium. And of course, I had to save the best for last, a game I am so excited to watch, but Mississippi State versus ranked Arizona State. Big rematch from last year. They went to the playoffs. Looking for our bounce back. You can see 76 is going to be the start of our football game, but by the time we're walking out of that stadium, going home, post-game traffic, we should be sitting in some pretty perfect conditions and hopefully with a win. I will be crossing my fingers, watching from up here. Cannot wait to root on my Dogs. But coming back to Futurecast, you can show most of the moisture in our atmosphere by those evening hours will be in cloud cover. Not really expecting to see this moisture, but it could try to fight that uphill battle and give some last-minute rain chances as that front continues to progress through. But here we go. That northerly wind will be the dominant part of our forecast. You can see that is the only thing that we can really look at for our Sunday morning. So as we're waking up for church and any early morning activities you have for Sunday, you will have picture perfect skies and you will have great temps to go along with it. As we continue this, I don't have a pause point because there is nothing to show besides this wind. It is just going to be like that constantly throughout the rest of your Sunday into your early Monday morning hours. So it will be dry, it will be beautiful, and a great Sunday ahead for our weekend. We can look at the high temperatures for our Sunday, still perfect, but notice they're a little bit warmer than what our temperatures are for tomorrow, showing that this cold front only really affecting us tomorrow. And it's a very brief kind of drop in our temperatures. We're going to start seeing a slow warming trend for the rest of our work week. Pretty much mid 80s for our viewing area. Those feels like heat indices still looking pretty. We're still in the pretty much low 80s, upper 70s. So we'll still feel like we're down there, just won't really be there for the rest of our work week. You can see rain chances will be most prominent tomorrow morning, but after that, we are very dry. Those temperatures 83, but those lows 59, 56. We're in that weird season where we're starting off the morning with maybe a hoodie and some sweatpants, but by the time we get towards 84, 87 for your Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to be time to take off that hoodie and enjoy those short sleeve and shorts for the rest of our day. But as promised, I got to show y'all the band of the week. They did a fantastic job tonight. Matt already sent in the video. I watched it, got a little sneak peek. So here you go to see the band of the week.
I think it was the 4th of July. People dancing, people laughing. I've been waiting such a long time for Saturday. People talking, really smiling. And then playing guitar.
Well, the band did an amazing job. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in and watch our Spirit Squad and Band of the Week. Of course, if you don't have the Mississippi Live weather app, here are the QR codes to scan it today, especially once we start getting closer to severe weather. We started seeing a glimpse of that today and into the tomorrow morning, just making sure to have those alerts ready, everything on your phone so you can be prepared for severe weather season. But of course, I will be live tomorrow night because it'll be officially the weekend. So we will have our weekend schedule 6 and 10 o'clock tomorrow night. But y'all enjoy the little rain showers that we'll receive tomorrow, and y'all enjoy all the football games y'all are ready to watch for y'all Saturday. And I will see y'all tomorrow evening.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Your family deserves the most beautiful smile possible. At Tupelo Smiles, we use precision dentistry and advanced technology to make visiting the dentist an amazing experience. Relationship-based comprehensive care. Come discover the difference at Tupelo Smiles.